Alright, this next subject is we going this the art of the mixtape. Now this one I hold dear to my heart because obviously I'm a DJ. Can you even say it's the art of mixtapes anymore? Because I mean, now when you find mixtapes on sites like YouTube, for example, or just what was the other one? What's the famous one that everybody used to
DatPiff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like when you say a mixtape, it's usually an album, basically an album by an artist that's rhyming over industry other people's beats, and going in and doing this thing, and they calling it a mixtape. And me personally, I used to get offended by that because I'm listening to it and I'm like, it's mostly an album. I wouldn't call it a mixtape, but let's get to the heart of that. What do you consider a mixtape? Let's pass this around. Let's just go into it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
What do you consider a mixtape?
Okay, so by today's definition, I feel like mixtapes are just really the songs that didn't make the album. Like
the throwaways?
Yeah, like the throwaways that aren't too trash. Like the ones that's like, we could keep these, but they just not good enough for the album.
So is that something that the label won't push?
I definitely don't think that labels push mixtapes as hard as they do.
Nas' lost tapes, you can consider it, but you just
absolutely
the perfect definition of it. But it came through the label.
But also, what labels do now, and which is also why I want to be an independent artist. What labels do is like you'll make an album, and then they'll classify it as a mixtape, so then they can keep you under the contract. So you have to make more albums because they put you under like, all right, they gonna sign, like say if they sign Lil Baby for 3 albums, right. Then he, he's in the studio cooking up albums. They ain't even doing nothing, you know what I'm saying? He doing all the work, and they're probably doing the promotion and marketing of it. But then he puts it out, and people love the album. They're like, oh yeah, this is dope, da da da. They're gonna classify it as a mixtape if it's too good because they want to keep them under contract. So that's another reason why people get confused, because it's like the stuff we're listening to that are mixtapes, they're actually albums.
And I definitely feel like some artists are branded to be mixtape artists. Yeah. Like Meek was a mixtape artist for the longest. He was branded as such, but he really could have been an album artist from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And people tried to take his, Philly's known for battle rap. They tried to take that, oh, Philly, we gonna do this battle rap thing, we gonna call it a mixtape. And I definitely don't think like Dream Chasers 1 and 2 should not have been mixtapes
at all.
I don't think they did. I feel like he could have put the two of them together and made one whole album.
With 50.
Oh, absolutely.
If you take it all the way back, when G Unit started popping off,
for sure,
it seemed like every other week they was coming out with a mixtape, and it was G Unit and 50 rhyming over different industry beats. And this, to me, is changed the game because instead of you having like Who Kid doing the cutting and scratching, maybe on a certain, part of that song, it was the whole song being played. They structured it into an actual song. They had to work for it and everything. That's where I think it changed the game. Because before you would have different artists making mixtapes rhyming over different beats. But like I said, you would have the DJ scratching a certain part of the song and they running back and forth and they going at it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes and they switch to a different beat. G Unit just went and took the whole entire song, made it a whole new song. Yeah, and actually, some certain ones they made it hotter than the original.
That's,
for sure.
That's what I know mixtapes to be is artists rap like what Lil Wayne does. It raps.
To me,
that's what a mixtape is. I think the mixtape definition gets blurry when it's like Drake did. If you're reading This Is Too Late, he said it's a mixtape. Those are all these songs, and they don't sound like throwaways. Those joints was fire.
That was supposed to be an album.
It was like, this ain't an album. This is a mixtape, and he officially classifies it as a mixtape. What a Time to Be Alive, I believe, is a mixtape, and it's like, how's this a mixtape? It ain't no DJ yelling on it. Ain't nobody saying.
I think that's what it is. Like
that's
the missing element of the DJ. DJs aren't hosting mixtapes like they used to.
Right. And just like say like me and you collab with something. You say I got some stuff I want to just put out there to promote. All right, give me some beats. I'm gonna promote you. I'm gonna talk on the joint. I'm gonna let you introduce them. Do my little thing. We're gonna do it for this amount of time on this song. Boom, 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 boom. That's what I would consider a mixtape. And then you don't have a little interlude in between. We talk. You promote the album. This is something that we just gonna put out there. That's a mixtape. Yeah. Nowadays, you have somebody like Lil Baby. You have somebody like Moneybagg Yo come out with a mixtape. It's just songs like y'all said. That didn't make the album, or they made too many songs for the album. Because nowadays everybody attention span is not as like it used to be. So you can't come out with an album with 20 joints. It's like what 10 now?
Yeah, it's
Maybe-
about 10 to
maybe
15.
So
Yeah.
the
15
other
at
10
most.
15 songs. They've
songs
been
that
doing
didn't make it,
20.
they'll put that on the mixtape.
They've been doing 20 songs. They've been cracking
Yeah,
them
they've
20
been-
songs
I was
off for
gonna
I mean,
a
say,
I've
minute.
seen
Most I saw
some
was
longer
20.
joints, but I just don't feel like they're all worth quality music.
No, they just load them up, and the artists they like for example, what Meg Thee Stallion's been doing for a minute. She's been delaying her debut. She's been putting out music and been saying this ain't my debut album. This just a project. Or this just a mixtape.
So
She's
you
been
think she's
doing
doing
it.
what you mentioned?
She's just putting it
Yeah,
off.
it's
They
like-
love this
They
title
just
of
keep
project.
putting it off.
Like, it's just a
And that's-
project.
Yeah,
That's
just a-
something I get behind as an artist because the reason being is because when I drop my debut album, I want to have a bigger budget. So it's like, and then I also want
She
like
got
on
the
some
budget.
Nicki shit.
She got the budget.
I really just want, you know what I'm saying? When Nicki was popping, she ain't had no album out. You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying?
That's
Like
right,
it was
true. Yeah.
years before she put her
Mixtape Nicki
album
was
out.
different.
Yeah.
So
Like-
I want to be able to brag like on some rapper shit. I really want to brag like, yo, I ain't even got no album out, and y'all still loving my mixtapes and my
Totally
other
on
But at
projects.
the same time, do you
Yeah.
feel like
I heard
if
Pat
you're
Pooh
gonna
say that
do
before.
the route that Nicki took and have mixtape Nicki be so hard and then transform into somebody completely different album after album after album
Yeah, she
and get
was
more
right out of my
mainstream
mouth.
album after album after album? Queen was the only joint that kind of has some songs that reminded me of old Nicki, and it's like.
So it's like I'm not gonna do it too long because then that's when they do like
Cassidy effect.
you hear what they
Yeah.
say about Logic, where it's like I like mixtape Logic better than album
album,
Logic, or
yeah. I
I
was
like
just gonna say the same
mixtape
of
Wayne
Cassidy.
better than
Yeah.
album Wayne.
'Cause
So it's
it's-
like I don't want to do it for too long, but I also want to have like my vision be my vision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For
For
whatever
sure.
it is, because
But I
it's
think-
yeah.
I think just with the mixtapes, it just got to put the DJs back out there because I mean, back
I-
in the day,
Yeah.
DJs were
Yeah.
promoting their albums. If the DJ had your back, you were hot. Like if
Yeah,
Clue was backing you, that's how Fab.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's how we
Mm-hmm.
love Fab. But to what y'all was saying, Fab was banging them mixtapes out
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
on the Clue mixes and everything. And then when the album dropped, I was like, huh?
I'll be
Yeah.
honest with
Same,
you.
the same
Yeah.
dude, same with Cassidy.
I'll be honest with you. Mixtapes are for the streets, yo. And like they
But
street
you need
is
that element.
it's for the streets, and I feel like street artists are the only ones that do mixtapes the way that we remember them. You know what I'm saying? Like Lil Moose mixtape got niggas is the structure, the format, all that. I don't think industry artists, signed artists can put out mixtapes through a label. I don't think that you can.
Probably because of the label politics.
And I
It's
mean-
it's polished. It's too polished. It don't
When
sound
it
like a
comes down
mixtape.
to
It's
it-
too polished. It's like Gucci Man mixtapes.
Yeah, he's another-
Fire. It sound like shit. Fire. Like that's the element of mixtape. The sound quality. It's like yo, this shit ain't
Yeah,
mixed
they
and
had that
mastered.
dirty
I'm
be
putting
in the
this out.
basement.
I want y'all to hear
Like the
this shit.
Wu-Tang sound,
Yeah.
when Wu-Tang first
Yeah.
But
came
even
out.
with that, the radio DJs ain't playing it, and most of these DJs that are out here are trying to get on the radio.
See,
So
that's
it's like
another-
if they
that's
don't
another
have
subject,
a
'cause
drop, if
that's
they're not
payola.
if they're not getting
Yeah.
a drop from it, if they're not
Yeah.
going to see that this is going to be a song that's going to be played on the radio, they're not trying to hear it no more. They're not trying to host these things no more because it's not going towards that end goal of being on the radio.
Yeah.
Because these mixtape songs aren't getting on the radio.
I
So
feel
it's
you.
like
I see
it's
that.
it's kind of a tug and pull with
radio
a lot of
DJing
the
trash though. Tour DJing is where it's at.
Right.
For
And
sure.
That's why I do what I
Absolutely.
do. Because I mean,
Tour DJing
to
is where
this
it's
day,
at.
I go home. I might go
It's
home
just
today and
that
just make a mixtape and post it on YouTube.
radio DJing bringing that
'Cause
steady
that's just
check.
I still like
Yeah.
that old school
Yeah.
feel of it. Like
Yeah.
Gotta eat.
I mean, some things, some elements of the old days, I understand you got to elevate, but some of that stuff you have to keep. And as far as the original format of being a mixtape DJ or mixtape artist, you got to keep it out there. That's why I do what I do. So
Yeah.
I'm never going to let it go because that's what got me into the game.
yeah.
As far as really that's how I knew about the artist and who I wanted, and eventually that artist ended up blowing. So I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
must have been doing something right because I heard of that artist like 3-4 years
Yeah.
ago
Mm-hmm.
when he wasn't popping. Now y'all love him. 3-4 years ago, I was on him.
Yeah.
Same thing with Griselda, with Benny the Butcher and
Yeah,
all them.
yeah.
I was on them years ago. Not as heavy as I am now because they really putting the work out there. But
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
remember them. I'm like, yo, nobody was even
Yeah.
mentioning these dudes.
So I got a question. So you got the mixtape, and you're talking about radio DJ. So the mix show is essentially the child of the mixtape. It
Yeah,
essentially
that's
is a
exactly
lot.
what it is.
Do artists ever send music to radio stations like, yo, this is exclusive, put this in the mix, or is it all whatever the radio station has the rights to or the playlist or whatever? Because I know the radio
So-
stations, it tends
I
to
know
be a
they did
playlist
that
that you
As
back
pick
far
shit
as
from.
for us and for the show that I work with, we have a DJ come in. He puts whatever, like we kind of let him have free range as to who he plays,
Mm-hmm.
out of respect for his craft. But every once in a blue moon we get a song or two, but it's like, first of all, most of these artists don't come with the clean music. So that's hard enough. We can't get it on the air because we can't play it. You cussing too much.
Yeah.
We not paying for that because, you know, we get fined per cuss word.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can't deal with that shit. Then on top of it, it's like a lot of what we're hearing on Mix is what's popular in the top 10. Because that's what people listen to on their way home. Like,
but they played it at 11 a.m.
But then here we go with the third shift people that are about to go into work. Like, I got, 10 to midnight.
Right.
So third shift, you know, they on their break. They just want to hear something. And once again, we going right back around, especially if you work at a station where there's only but 1 or 2 hip-hop shows. Like, the station I currently am with, it's mostly talk shows. So at 11, they're not getting that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to 11 at night, we kind of have to go back and play all those songs that were in the top 10 that should have been played at 11.
Right.
So it's kind of like a tug and pull.
Yeah, see how the times changed, because that station that you with, I remember listening to them back in the day, because out of all the other mainstream stations that played all the mainstream stuff, they were known for the underground stuff. They were known for the gritty. I never even heard of certain DJs, but they were tearing it up.
But even with the gritty that they're playing now and the underground that they're playing now, they're not giving the new underground folk a chance. I can't say that they are. Like, it's consistently this person that we've heard plenty of great underground music from, this person that we've heard plenty of great underground songs from. Like, it's a lot of, I don't want to say old folk, but it's people that we know already. Like, there's people out here that got these, you know, dope songs and dope tracks that aren't being played on the undergrounds, because there's a certain sense of we need to keep to what we know rather than we need to invite others to see what we do and to see the authenticity that we have.
So that reminds me of, as you telling me, I'm thinking of KRS-One when he was trying to get with, he was trying to actually join up with the Juice Crew, but Magic Mike didn't like him.
Yeah.
And they just came out the blue with the whole South Bronx song.
Yeah.
And as you're telling it, I'm actually thinking that as you said, I was like, that sounds just like when KRS-One was trying to come out. This was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it don't seem like much change.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing changed.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Magic. My apologies.
We sorry.
Rest in peace, Mr. Magic.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, just that story, just thinking about it, I mean,
It's just
that's just one.
It's just
that's
a
one
sign
group.
of the times.
So just imagine all the other groups going through the same thing. So I get it.
And it's like, this is why this, I don't want to keep saying Uzi, but that Lil Uzi sound is so big right now, because there were so many people that were lying dormant and doing this in their houses and in their basements and at their friends' houses. And now everybody's like, damn, that's cool. And we should make this a thing. And now he's super popular. And now people that are coming out, all the Lils are coming out super popular. And it's like, all that is because they're not finding an avenue with the typical underground sound.
I mean, there's no more, they don't do the same thing like they did back in the day, like how Biggie got on, making a demo and sending it to the source and stuff like that. You don't have that anymore. So it's
or even the
But
radio
then again,
station.
we could blame that on the
everything.
lack of hip hop magazines at this point.
But that's because
There ain't nowhere to send
we
it
talked
to.
about that earlier. The internet's taking over everything.
Ain't no
it's like,
blog era. The blog era was beautiful, but we don't even have that no more. Like, we don't even have the blogs to send shit to.
You just tag the shade room now. World Star.
Tell everybody to take the shade room.
But it's hard now, because I mean, even when I go in some groups on Facebook and I try to post my cousin's mixtape or a new song, and I'm just like, well, I can post it, but are they gonna actually look at it?
Yes, the other thing is the oversaturation of it, because of, again, we going back to the streaming era, everybody's able to do it. Now it seems like there's everybody doing it, so now people will ignore people's shit because it's like, well, you doing it and my cousin doing it. Everybody's doing it.
You got to get co-signed from a well-known artist.
Or on the event side of things,
especially
during COVID, I've been going to a lot of DJ pools online and having just 10, 12 DJs from all over the country just playing music. This is what we got. This is who my artist is. Listen to his shit right now. We doing interviews with artists. We got virtual listening parties. If people want to tap in with that artist, they gonna do it. Like, there's just way too many avenues right now for people to not be able to. People are doing watch parties for music videos.
Yeah.
Now, I just had to host one, and I thought it was the wildest thing ever that you could do a watch party on YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
but they're making the numbers up on that way. So I guess that's where the beauty in streaming comes, because right now it's not like anybody can go anywhere anyway.
Unless
You know,
you're
we
in
stuck
Atlanta.
in the house regardless.
And
Unless you're
that's
in
gonna be
Atlanta.
another topic for another thing, because the way these streaming networks are now, it's like they just putting their foot down on, you know, on our necks now about how we do certain stuff now. Like I used when COVID started,
Yeah.
I was getting on IG
IG
doing
Live,
mixed
yeah,
shows,
they
and
shut that
cutting it.
down.
And I was just like, oh jeez.
Facebook straight up said, nah, you ain't
yeah,
doing
you
that
definitely
here.
can't do it on
They was
Facebook.
like,
I tried to
absolutely
do
not.
it.
Y'all know why.
Yeah.
I tried to be slick. I'm in the Sean Price group, and I tried to do a Sean Price tribute show on his birthday, and they cut it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, man. I said, what else can I do?
They used to wait until you was finished to be like, you can't save this.
Right.
We
Well,
gonna
that's
mute
what
this
that's
shit.
what happened. I went
That's
through
what
all the way,
they
tried to
all
post
do.
it, and then
They told you no. They don't even let you go live and do it no more. They'll cut you while you live and doing that shit.
And
I
I
was like,
mean,
yo,
I
this
don't know
wild.
if you all have heard about this Clubhouse app.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what a
Clubhouse.
lot of DJs are doing. Like, I mean, I've been in sets for 7-8 hours at a time of
Oh, that's
producers
that's
throwing beats out. Like, look, this is what I got. If anybody trying to pick it up, holla at me. I got my Instagram and my Twitter in the bio. Like,
Yeah.
it's really just a shot in the air, but I've seen so many producers getting off on it, so many DJs getting off on it. Like,
So what do you think of it? Because it's come up in conversations with us.
I think it's the next wave.
'Cause
Absolutely.
I'm
I've been-
literally like at the pool. I'm dressed to jump in, but I ain't in yet. I'm gonna wait for that little where everybody move out the way and I can go in.
Well, first of all,
I don't know.
it's invite only, and I appreciate
Yeah, I heard
that,
about that.
because it's a lot of people, you know. It's a lot of people that's trying to be in it but not be in it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't put your toe in and then say you swimming, you Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think with Clubhouse and the way Clubhouse works, it's a lot of times we should work horizontally instead of trying to work up.
Yes.
And I think this gives us the opportunity to work horizontally across the country, across the world. Like, I've already been talking, me and this girl in Toronto, we've been talking about doing some work together. We got another shorty out in the UK that's trying to do some work with us. Like, it really opens up doors. And I think some of my favorite Clubhouse rooms are just listening to DJs do their thing. And they'll sit there and do it all daggone day. And I sit there, I get my work done. He's playing. You still there? Yeah, I'm still here. Like, it's first of all, if you're a creative, it is very addictive, because all you
Yeah.
got to do is sit there and listen to people.
Okay.
They don't have to see your face. They don't have to see what you look like. And I mean, there's so many different avenues, like from the inspirational side. I get up 7 o'clock in the morning, they on there, okay, so what demons are you battling today? What dragons are you fighting today? And I'll be like, yeah, like, I'm gonna get my work done. Like, there's so many avenues, and all of the things that creatives don't ever really talk about that bother us about being creatives are being said and being heard. And it's so many great Black creatives on there,
I need to
and
get
I
on that.
love
I
every
need-
minute of it.
I
I've been
need
on there
that
since
invite. I need
the
that.
end of
Yeah,
October.
yeah.
And the more work you do on there, the more invites you get. So you can bring your people up. You can bring your folks. And like, Mace be on there. I'll be on there listening to Mace. He has a little show. It's a few different people that have regular rooms on there. Like 21 Savage get on there and sing every R&B song he could think of.
Especially Keisha Cole.
Yeah, shout out to
But I just
Keisha
think it's
Cole,
great, and it's a great opportunity for everybody to move forward.
Word.
That's going to be a topic for another day. But hey, True OG.